Romans 6:14 says that you and I are no longer under the law but under grace. Well, does this mean that we get a free pass to ignore the moral standards and behave any way we please simply because we're no longer under the law, because we're under grace? Well, I want you to judge to see if I got this one right.
God for all nations.
In the New Testament, the concept of being no longer under the law generally refers to the idea that believers are no longer bound by the requirements of the law and the regulations of the Old Testament. Instead, we're governed by the teachings of Yeshua Jesus, the apostles, the fivefold ministry of the New Testament. The idea of no longer under the law is simply based on the belief that Jesus' death and resurrection fulfilled the requirements of the Old Testament law. The resurrection of Yeshua Jesus now nullifies the notion that Christians, believers, need to keep the law of Moses in order for us to be saved or even maintain a right relationship with the Most High God. Again, my people, this does not mean that Christians are free to ignore moral standards or behave in any way they please, but rather our obedience to God is motivated by our love for Him. Now, to help us to understand why we're no longer under the law, I've got 3
For
scriptures.
sin shall not have dominion over you, for ye are not under the law, but under grace.
Paul is emphasizing is this, that all believers are no longer under the law, which refers to the Old Testament law given to the Israelites. But now we're under grace, and grace is referring to God's unmerited favor and the forgiveness through Yeshua Jesus.
Before faith came, we were kept under the law, shut up unto the faith which should afterwards be revealed. Wherefore the law was our schoolmaster, to bring us unto Christ, that we might be justified by faith. But after that faith is come, we are no longer under a schoolmaster.
The law serves as a custodian or tutor to lead people to Christ, but now that faith has come, believers are no longer under a tutor. Simply means that the law no longer has the same function as it did in the Old Testament. It no longer serves as means to salvation in a way to please God. Instead, it is faith in Yeshua Jesus that pleases the Most High God.
For by grace are ye saved, through faith, and that not of yourselves. It is the gift of God, not of works, lest any man should boast.
So in other words, salvation comes not by obtaining from certain kind of food or observing days and festivals and feasts. Nah, it's by grace through Yeshua Jesus, not by works of the law. And it eliminates our self-effort.